What's up, everyone? My name is Velchivz. Welcome to another video game news video. In this video, I'll be playing Borderlands, and I'm going to talk about the changes in the video game policy for the Xbox One, as well as the changes in their DRM. I'll be talking about the possibility for Steam sharing games, as well as the PlayStation 3 firmware update, which was blocking many people from playing the PS3, as well as some other quick news that I'll mention at the end. So let's get started. One of the biggest things from this week was the announcement that Microsoft will change the video game policy for the Xbox One video games, as well as their change in DRM. So basically, as if you heard before, Microsoft announced that the Xbox One will require for you to buy all new games, no used games, unless you could purchase them at a specific retailers. You will also have to check in every 24 hours. You also can only get the Xbox One in certain parts of the world. Well, all those stuff, they're being removed. Basically, if you live in a country where the Xbox One was not going to be shipped, for example, Poland, well, guess what? You will be able to buy it somewhere else and import it. You will be able to purchase games in a different country and import them over so you can buy and play them. Or if you move to a different country, you'll be able to play those games over there. It will not lock yourself or anything like that. So that is definitely a good thing. That's what the PlayStation 4 is doing. Another thing, it's the used games. That was a big thing. No more used games thing was very bad, for many people. And now you'll be able to do basically the same thing. Let everybody, whoever you want, borrow your games, and the same thing. Also, to me, the biggest concern was the 24-hour DRM. Having to check in every 24 hours, basically to just check in. Well, that's also being removed, and I think I think to me that was the major issue because shit has happened and we've seen it how sometimes servers go down and you can't fucking do shit. All right, so SimCity for example, but you got things like that, and once you have to rely on something that has shown problems, then you don't want to, you don't want it. That's what I'm trying to say. So to me, that was like the more important one, but that's also being removed, which is great. But let's talk a little bit about this. There's many people out there who are not happy. All right, they're not happy at this. I mean, you'd be surprised. The majority is happy. I'm happy, but there's many people out there who are not happy. Why? Well, it's simple. There's many people out there who were not affected by their new policies. All right. First, they could, they always buy new games or they buy digital games. Secondly, they were always online. So if you were a person that had basically those two things, then the Xbox One had nothing wrong for you. In fact, it actually had features to offer better than the Xbox 360 because you had the family share plan and you had the ability to sell your digital games and stuff like that. So that was a big perk for them. But for the majority who bought games at retails, who bought used games, who like to borrow games or lend games, those people were the ones who were affected, and those people were the majority, and those people are the ones who are getting the benefit now. So all these people over here are getting mad because of the change. Basically, why did they? But see, okay, it's not really no one's fault, all right? Because when they implement this, after they change all this DRM, all this policy back to normal, back to how it used to be, they didn't have to remove the family share plan. All right, it can still work with the digital purchases. Of course, you're not gonna buy a new game, get a digital copy, and then you just be able to sell the physical one. Of course not. But for the people who bought digital games, you could still make the family share plan, but they decided to remove it. So that's one of the major issues why many people were mad is because they said we had all these perks, now we have nothing. We're back to the way it used to be. But again, I think this whole family share plan, they proved that they can do it, that Microsoft can come and do it. But I guess I don't know, maybe they were mad. I don't know, they just don't want to do it anymore. They prefer not to. They say okay, they want it the way it used to be. Let's give them what it used to be, but let's take away the perks we were offering. I don't know. I mean, again, if you were doing the family share plan, it will still work with the digital purchases. But again, I don't know. Maybe it's because they didn't go the way they wanted, so now they're deciding, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna do it. So again, regardless whether you find this useful or not, it's not the people's fault. It's Microsoft's fault because they decided to go this route in the first place. All right, and they went this route, but then they found out it wasn't worth it, which is a good thing that they did. That they listened and they changed their ways to the way people, the majority, wanted. And now, all these people who were happy about this new content are not getting it. So it's just it's their fault. I mean, for one, is if you want to do these benefits, you can still do them. If you want to, if you wanted to keep it like this, you can still do it. There's nothing from stopping you from doing this family share plan with digital purchases. In fact, think about this for a second. Okay, now the Xbox One is the same as the PlayStation 4. Now you're gonna sit down and say, okay, what's the difference? Because now you're looking at the gaming aspect instead of the whole feature aspect. Now you have the same features, so you want to say, okay, should I buy an Xbox One? Should I get a PlayStation 4? Now you're gonna look at the exclusives. Now you're gonna look at what they offer extra. So think about it. You look at PlayStation 4, you look at Xbox One. Okay, you say, what do I get? Well, both have good games, both are powerful machines. Okay, so what do I get? Okay, if you're a person who follows the exclusives, then what, regardless of whatever happens, you're gonna go with the console that is more appealing to you because of the games. But if you're a casual gamer, the one who just he doesn't follow exclusives. He's just like, oh, as long as he has good games, I'm all for it. I just want to try random games and play them. If you're like that, then you most likely gonna look at the features. What offers better? Does this offer better performance? Does this offer better graphical looks? Is it overall better? Now, if you look at it and say, okay, they're exactly the same thing. Okay, well, which one offers me more stuff? Well, this one you can actually share your digital games, whereas this one you can't. That it's an extra thing that you get with the Xbox One on top of the whole television thing. Okay, so that's extra stuff you're getting with the Xbox One that you're not getting with the PlayStation 4. If you have that stuff to it, you have the advantage with all this, selling and stuff. Okay, so it's just whether you want to do it or not. Whether I don't know why would they remove it. I don't know if it's like well, we since you don't want this, we're gonna take it away, or oh, that's what you get for changing it. I really don't know, but that's just how it's gonna be. Now, don't get me wrong, what they're doing is freaking awesome. You just having to go and change this, it's freaking awesome. And there's many people who are sad about it, like they're holding this feeling against them because they're like, oh no, hell no, you screw up, you try to screw us in the first place, we're not going to buy your product even if you change it. Well, I mean, yes and no, because they changed the product to make it more appealing to all the people who were complaining. So now that they change it the way you want it, now you're saying, nah, you're not going to buy it. So so what's the point of complaining if the whole point of, I guess, boycotting or something is to get what you want. So now that you got what you want, you gotta let that pride go and say, okay, well, they change it, so I'm gonna purchase it. Now, I'm not saying that, okay, what they did was not something to go and applaud, alright? It's not something to go and celebrate and say, you guys did an awesome job in listening. No, because they're doing what they were supposed to do in the first place. But if you were in the kind of person who was sitting there, who were an Xbox loyal, or who wanted an Xbox, when you heard about the Xbox One the first day, you were like, oh hell yeah, I want one. But then you heard this news and you're like, hell no. But now you're saying, I'm not gonna buy it because they were trying to do this. Don't hold that pride, because they did change it for a reason. They changed it to make it more appealing to the customers, to the majority of the gamers. So it will be kind of silly if you just stop the buying, even if after they change it. You know what I mean? But again, it's not something to celebrate them. It's not something to sit down and say, oh, just because you change it, I'm gonna go buy it. Alright, just you deserve it because you change it. No, you just take it normally. Alright, they gave you what you want. If the Xbox One is the more appealing one to you, that's what you go for. Don't celebrate them, but don't punish them either. Now it's back to normal. That's it's like they redeemed themselves. That's pretty much how I see it. Alright, so if you were happy about the Xbox One, well, now it's just pure happiness. But if you had all those perks that now you're not gonna get, I feel you. It sucks because I mean, from your point of view would be hell, fuck, I was pre-ordering their Xbox One even after everybody was even hell. Now I'm taking away those perks that I had, that's BS. But yeah, but I mean, I guess they could change it. I mean, they can change it. I mean, think about it. They just change it, right? E3 just ended, and even after E3, they were still talking about how no, this is the way it's gonna work. We're not gonna change it. This is the way it's gonna be. Period. All right. A week after, oh, we're gonna change everything, and there is no delay to the release of the Xbox One. At least there's not announcement on it on any delay about the Xbox One. So that means that it's easy to be changed. That means that if they want, they can go and change it. That you can just go and implement something, right? So it can be done, but I mean now it depends on on them, I guess. But see, like I said on my previous video, it all depends on money. All right, if they don't see the money, they're gonna do things to get that money, to get the sales, right? What made them change this whole policy? Well, it wasn't people just sending him emails and saying, oh well, they were sending us email, we heard them. That was not really the case, because if it was, they would have changed it like as soon as they released the policy. As soon as they showed the policy, then all these people that send emails and and send tweets and all that stuff, they would have said, okay, they're mad, let's change it. They didn't. They changed it after they saw the pre-orders. After they saw that the pre-orders were lame, that's when they said, okay, it's not working, and there gotta be profit. Otherwise, what's the point of all of this? We're not making a console for 500 people. Just I'm not, not 500, but whatever. So yeah, I mean, it's a good thing. And if you were an Xbox person before, you can continue to be an Xbox person. If you like their exclusives, of course, it depends on what you're looking for. But definitely, those are good news for gaming, for gamers, and for the video game industry. That that it proves that if people get together and they let their voice be heard, they can actually change this stuff that they don't like. So yeah, definitely a good thing. Definitely a good thing. Good job, Microsoft. Good freaking job. Okay, so right before Microsoft, announced this new policy that made a lot of people happy, Electronic Arts spoke, basically saying that they didn't want one console to win the war. Now, of course, there's gonna be a winner, but they didn't want one console to win it, like massively, just take all the sales and let the other one rot, right? Because it makes sense to me that too, because you want competition, you let one company take it all, and that you won't see any more innovation. For the most part, you probably won't, because if you're getting the sales, why would you waste more money on doing stuff? You know what I mean? So that's a good thing, but you gotta think about it from the other way too. Electronic Arts partnered with Microsoft, so of course, if Microsoft is losing, they want some balance coming from one side to the other. They partnered for all this sport stuff, for the NFL, FIFA, and all this stuff, because the Xbox One is gonna have all this feature with sport games and things. So of course, if you see that your partner is losing, of course you want balance, right? But definitely balance is good. But I gotta say though, even if PlayStation 4 beats Xbox One, even after this whole new thing, if they happen to do it like massively or whatever, that's not the only competition they got. You got the Wii. Now I know you're saying, well, yeah, I agree. The Wii is kind of like a different type of gaming. I see it more like a fun adventure type of gaming. Whereas PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, I see it more as a hardcore, graphical gaming type of thing. So I see them kind of different. Yes, both have adventure, both have, violence and shooting and stuff like that. But for the most part, that's, Wii and, Nintendo are more, adventure and fun type. Whereas over here is more like hardcore, story driven. I shouldn't say story driven. I should have said, more like sci-fi and things like that. So and this one is more fantasy, adventure, all this stuff. You know what I mean. I think you understand. But so that's still competition, because if you don't like what either are doing, you just go to Nintendo. And another one, what I'm using right now, a freaking computer. It's a big ass competitor. You get almost you might say, oh, they don't have many exclusives. They have a shitload of free to play games over the internet that you don't even have to spend a single penny to play. If I mean that you can go from first person shooters to MMOs to freaking MOBAs, RTS, whatever, you name it. So they have all this stuff. They also have some exclusive, Guild Wars 2, but it's also an RPG, right? So but still, you have a lot of great games being made for it. You got Electronic Arts, Ubisoft, Bethesda, Square Enix. You have tons of, developer teams, not teams, publishers who make all these great games for PC as well, and they provide a better performance. Of course, you need to spend a little bit more money to have a better gear, a better rig But even so, nowadays it's cheaper to get a gaming computer that can deliver a good graphical look for your computer. So for your games. So yeah, definitely competition is good, more innovation, and you get good stuff, and yeah, definitely good stuff. So yeah, more good news, more good freaking news. All right, so this is just something that it's not confirmed. There's nothing that that's stated that we're gonna do it. No, there's nothing, but it got leaked out. All right, basically, if you have Steam, you can join in the beta, and you can basically beta test the Steam client. Right. Well, you can pretty much someone went into the whole file system and they looked around and they saw that in one of the files there was something that they had some commands that had to do with game sharing. So basically, when if you have Steam, you probably know what I mean. When you go and play a game, it says user, your name. It's playing. For example, right now I'm playing Borderlands. It says Velchivz is playing Borderlands, right? Well, it had a command that said, you know, friend A, friend user, whatever your friend is, it's playing my name game. Alright, so he's playing my game. Or I'm playing someone else's game. And it also has commands where you can actually click, play, and it will send a command or a notification to the other player saying, hey, the owner of the game, he wants to play, so fuck off. so so basically, with this command, I mean, they're not gonna put this command just in freaking, files just for no reason, right? Unless they're just having like an April Fool's thing. But April's already over, so I don't know. But what I'm saying is they have all these Steam trading games, speculation going around after finding those commands on the thing. Now you can even go into those files and find them. I'm not sure which file is it, but I'll leave the link. So yeah, they already have a copy. So I'll leave the link so you can actually go read the article and you can read the lines, basically what they say and what they talk about you know being possible for Steam trading. Now we know that yeah, that's what the Xbox One was doing with the family share plan. Now whether this is a direct result from that, like for example, did Steam heard this and like, oh, this is a good idea, let's do it. I don't know. I mean, I think that what I read it was that they actually did this. They implemented this update with the file before Xbox released their whole family share plan thing. So I don't think but maybe they knew about it. Maybe I don't know. But what we know is that we might get the Steam sharing game now. But let's talk about it for a second, right? Just for a second. How's this gonna work? I mean, there are games that you can let your friends borrow and they can play it and wherever, just like in which consoles you can let them borrow your physical games and play them. But there are some games that you basically lend someone and they play it once and they have really no replay value, or they have some replay value but they're not worth the purchase of a full retail new price for to replay it again. You know what I mean? For example, Metro Last Light, good story, rich gameplay, badass. But as you play it once, you pretty much beat the story. You know what happens. You can play it again for the achievements, whatever. But but that's it. So if I buy Metro Last Light and I let my friend borrow it and he plays it, he might like the game a lot and might say, "Well, I want this game. I want to have it because it's really good." But let's think about this for a second. You get $60 to buy a game, right? And then you have the choice. Well, I could buy this game that I really love, that I already beat, or I could purchase a new game that I have never even played. So even though you really like this game, you may have that I want to try something new. For example, Uncharted. My uncle. Sorry, my uncle bought Uncharted, right? And that was a game when I bought the PlayStation 3. That's a game that I want to own because it's a good game. Right? It's just something to have. It's a game that I must have because I have PlayStation 3. So he bought Uncharted and all three of them, and he's like, "You want to borrow them?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So he let me borrow them. I played them. I beat them. They were awesome. They were badass. But then I go to Game Store or I look online and I look for prices and I look, okay, the price is this price. Oh, I'm gonna buy it. All right. But then I look at another game and I'm like, wait, I haven't played that game though, and that one's good. So I have the choice. Do I want to purchase this game that I love, that I found really awesome, but that I might not play it as much because I already beat it, or I could spend this money on a new game that could be just as awesome, or that could be awesome as well, that I never played. So that happened to me, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna buy this one because I never played it, and I heard it's good as well. So I might as well try something new. So that could happen here. But I know what you're saying. You're probably saying, well, that what happened in real life, like what my uncle did with me. He let me borrow the game, and I didn't buy it. So you're saying, what's the difference between digitally? I can let my friend borrow a game, he can play it and he might decide not to buy it. So what difference does it make being digital or being just regular physical copy? Well, the difference is that real life has trust. All right, in real life you have to have the trust to lend someone your game. You're not gonna let anybody borrow your game. You're not gonna go randomly to someone and say, "Hey, you want to borrow it?" You're not gonna go and you're gonna lend people you trust that they're gonna give you your game back. When you're digital, you're protected. You buy the game and you might you just probably met someone on a multiplayer game and they're your friend and you might say, "Oh, you have this game? Can I borrow it?" And you say, "Yeah, hell yeah, play it." All right, and you're protected. It's not like he's gonna go, "No, you can have your game back." No, you just be like, "All right, I won't share it to you anymore." So you have this protection. So this basically with digital stuff, you can lend anybody your game, and just freaking go around and like, "Here, play my game," and when you're done, I'm gonna let someone else borrow it, and whatever. You could have like 5 people just be like, "All right, you're gonna buy this game, you're gonna buy that game, I'm gonna buy this game," and we're gonna have every single game. Well, that comes with issues. I guess if it's close friends, like close friends, like real life friends who are like that, like even with physical copies, then it makes no difference, right? But if when you go into a way where you can have like a bunch of friends and you might not even know them personally or long enough to just say borrow my game and you can just go ahead and borrow them with confidence, then that gets issues because there's less sales and things like that. So what I think, you know, for this is they might implement this Steam sharing games, but it might not be for every single game. And if there is for every single game, maybe some will have a limit, like you can only play a certain amount of time, or maybe just some games like I said, Metro Last Light, which is single player. There's no multiplayer to it. There's you beat the story and you're done. Maybe those games will not allow you to let you play, to let you borrow games. Now games like for example Skyrim, games that you could basically play 100 hours and you still find new shit, or you'll still be able to find new stuff to do and things like that. Get mods and shit like that. Well, maybe those games, they'll be available to share because for the most part, like I say, they have a lot of replay value, and and most likely, if the other person is playing it a lot, then you be like, well, I want to play it too. So you most likely buy the game and things like that. Now another thing is Steam achievements. Okay, and the Steam Cloud. Okay, are you gonna be able to? Are you gonna share that Steam Cloud? Are you gonna give them a cloud service to people who borrow games? All right, so basically, I let somebody else borrow Skyrim. Is their save file gonna be stored in the cloud so they can, access from anywhere? Is it gonna be on my cloud? Am I gonna share my whatever amount of megabytes they give me with them? Or am I gonna share my file with them? Those things are. And you're probably saying with achievements, you're like, well, who cares about achievements? It's just personal achievements. That's what they are, achievements. But some people care. And another thing, you got Steam trading cards coming in, and if you know what that is, it's basically a new thing coming to Steam where you can get cards by playing games, and you can complete sets to craft badges and get coupons and get experience, and you level up your Steam level. So basically, they're kind of making a game with Steam. So when you play games, you level up and things like that, right? So are you going to be able to do that? For example, you can only get a limited amount of cards for every game. For example, Left 4 Dead 2, you can only get 4 cards for the current collection. If you want the other 4 cards, you have to buy them. You have to either play a different game who also has cards, get cards and trade them, or things like that. So am I going to just say, okay, I'm going to let you borrow my game, but those 4 cards you get, you're going to give them to me? That'll just be like, okay, that's fine. You be giving out just free cards. So what I'm saying is are they going to have all these benefits that come with it? Are there going to be stuff removed? Maybe the multiplayer aspect will be removed. Maybe like I said, maybe some games, how when you purchase a game, it tells you full controller support. It has all the support stuff. Maybe it will be like that. Like game is shareable, game is not shareable. All right. And again, there are games that that make sense if you share. There are games that doesn't make sense. Like for example, Worms Revolution. If you check out on this channel, we have videos where Marco, Gankers, Jeeves, and me were playing Worms Revolution. We couldn't just buy one game and share it together because we're playing multiplayer. So we all had to purchase a game, right? So for those games, the sharing value is not really important. They won't care. They probably even do it so you can try the game and decide whether you want to buy it or not. But for games that are rich single player, those are the ones that I think that you might not see them on this list. Who knows? You never know. Maybe they'll have like like restrictions as to who you land. You know how you have to have like, oh, this guy must be in your friend list for at least 30 days and things like that. Maybe they put some restriction like that, and it makes sense. To be honest, it makes sense, right? But okay, but regardless what they do, this whole Steam sharing game, if they do it, it's just a perk. It's something that they're giving you at no cost, and it's just something good. But it's just like anything else. If somebody gives you a candy, right, and they tell you do not open it or do not eat it, then what the fuck is the point of the candy, right? So the whole thing, the whole idea here is, they can give you this whole new feature, but it has to be well done. Otherwise, instead of just ignoring it or accepting the way it is, you might even piss you off and say, I don't want it. It's lame, So again, they don't even have talk about it. They don't even confirm or anything. This is just me talking about possible shit that could happen with Steam sharing, and but yeah, I think that's legit. But that's the possible Steam sharing games. Okay, just to end this video, just some quick news. And the PlayStation 3 had a firmware update where it was locking many people. You're safe now. So basically, you can go on, and if you try to update, you will not get this update. They took it offline, so you're safe. But many people get locked out, and they cannot play the PS3. Accordingly, what I'm reading is you will get an update next week, which will fix your problem. So that's good news. And so then you have to wait. But many people didn't know their PlayStation 3 is fine. I didn't even update mine. I didn't even notice until I read the article. I'm like, oh, okay, well, but yeah, you're fine. So you can go on, and if it updates or something right now, you're fine. Oh, it's another thing. The Nvidia Shield, which I talked about in my other video, dropped in price from $349 to $209. So that's definitely a good thing. I really want one, so maybe I'll get one in the future. Probably not as soon as it comes out, because I still need to upgrade my graphic card as well. So Gia, DayZ, that open world zombie killing around, is gonna change their name to Infestation Survivor. So it's gonna have a new name. Still, I don't think it's that. By what I'm read, it's not really a good game either. So, what? I mean, I'm just saying. Also, you might see Half-Life 3 and Left 4 Dead 3 soon, right? And Source 2. So if you make games, Source. If you like Half-Life and Left 4 Dead, good games. Definitely, we might get their sequels, Half-Life 3 and Left 4 Dead 3, sometime in the future. All right, so that's definitely a good thing. Alright guys, well that's all the news that I'm going to talk about. Just something quick about my channel. This channel, what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to talk about certain news throughout the week instead of just every Friday. Like, because sometimes some news are kind of long. So to make smaller videos and split them throughout the week, I'll probably do that. I'll probably do those changes. And, like when the Xbox new came out, I'll probably just do it the day that I read the new or something like that. But yeah, I'll probably do that. But anyway, this is my Friends Night Gaming channel. If you like what you're seeing, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. And, if you like this channel, subscribe for more video game content. I see you guys in the next video. Take care. Peace out.